The only mission I ever rehearsed for was the Bin Laden. I'm breezing through it the first couple days. Like on page 1 or 2, I see a statistic where it says you have up to a 70% chance being shot down on the helo ride in or the helo ride out. And immediately the helicopter goes 90 and starts going in.
Did you know that you had the new latest and greatest Blackhawks?
I don't know anything about any crazy Blackhawks. President got involved. It was like, hey, can you guys push this one day to the right? Push to the right. I want to hit my dinner. He invites us all to the White House, to the residence, for a beer. Do you think he ever followed up with that invite?
Probably not.
Nope.
Did you have any idea that's what they were going to talk to you about?
No, I had no idea. And I actually had a medical appointment that I couldn't miss the morning that they were pulling these guys down to this other facility to read them in. And I'm like, hey guys, I've got this medical thing at the doctor. I've set up, is it cool if I miss this or do I need to miss the doctor's appointment to hit this brief? And they're like, no, you're good. Just drive down when you're done. So I finished my appointment and drove down. And then when I showed up at the facility, they'd already given the guys the brief and said, hey, look, we think we found the guy. We want you guys to plan the ground assault option. And boom. So then we got to work.
How do you plan that?
Just like we've done any other mission, right? The enlisted guys at the bottom who actually do it start coming up with the courses of action. We're somewhat limited on the way we could tactically action the target based off where it was, right? In Afghanistan, we'd grown very comfortable with not flying the helicopter to the compound, right? Landing 20 kilometers away and patrolling in. So, right, we're going to pick the lock on your door. We'll get you while you're sleeping. Don't wake up anybody in the neighborhood. That's much more of what we like to do. But because of where his compound was in the city, the odds of us landing 5 kilometers away, patrolling through the city, remaining undetected was low. So had we been compromised on that patrol, right, he would have left the building. So based off the building, everything we were seeing, that drove us to say, okay, well, let's go straight to the target. Mm-hmm. Fly the helicopters, and that's where that plan was started. Right?
Did you know that you had the new latest and greatest Blackhawks?
I don't know anything about any crazy Blackhawks.
Okay,
you can talk about them all you want, but I'm not saying anything.
Did you know you were going to get fancy helicopters to fly in for the mission?
Not immediately.
Walt's not going to come after you anymore after this fucking release.
Not immediately.
Fucking to you that, or any of these other guys. But so you had no idea. When did you have an idea those were coming?
In the mission planning. During the mission planning, they told us about certain assets that we could use that had certain skills that we needed, and so some discussion whether we truly needed it or not, and ultimately it was yes. So
how long did you guys have to plan the operation?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Long as I've never rehearsed for any mission. Right, 13 deployments, never rehearsed for a single mission. Every deployment, go do your plan, brief the team, roll out the door, and go. The only mission I ever rehearsed for was the Bin Laden.
No
only
shit.
time we ever had time.
How? So can you talk about the 2 weeks from when
we
got briefed to execution? I mean, what was the pace like? What was it?
Came up with our plan and then just started rehearsing our plan. We had a mock-up that we trained on. But again, even rehearsing on a mock-up where you don't know the inside of it is kind of irrelevant, right? We knew kind of the outside layout, and so you could go get a false sense of security running a dry run on a compound for time. But if you don't know what's in the house and what's going to happen in the house, you're getting a false sense of security of, oh, we ran this in 3 minutes. We cleared it in 3 minutes. Right? You're clearing a structure with paper targets and without any interference, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we spent a week or two doing that. Went out to another state, did some more rehearsals with the helicopters, and then came back. I can remember.
Is this like you wake up, rehearse all the way through the night, rehearse, just all hours of the day,
Yep,
just
that's
rehearse,
it. Day,
rehearse, go to
night, day,
sleep,
night.
wake up,
And
do
then
the
when we
same.
weren't there, we'd give the people like, hey, can you update this on the mock-up? They'd update it. We'd come back the next morning and hit it again or whatever it was. And just constant rehearsals. Yeah.
What did it feel like to get that brief? Especially not have no idea. You come back from a medical appointment and it's look at your buddies, the 24 that are going on, and they're like, hey, we're fucking hitting the number one guy.
That doesn't get you excited. Something's wrong.
That's what I'm fucking
Right?
saying.
Come on. Like you're like, holy fuck, let's go. Right? I'd been involved in one other spin for Bin Laden years prior. So this one felt much different, right? The one years prior, right? It was flowing right robes were seen on ISR feed, and he's coming back into Afghanistan to make his final, take the fight to the Americans. And so it was this whole, it was a big shit show is what it was. All the officers, everybody wanted to get involved, to be involved. It was the closest spin of any intel they'd ever had on Bin Laden. And so they just delayed. This big force got built. They flew in like B-1 bombers from the States. They bombed the shit out of an empty hillside. Right, like 3 days before they're going into the mission, right? They're going to take out Bin Laden. They send me and another guy over to Pakistan to do some stuff there. So I'm literally on the Pakistan side of the border, dressed in Pakistani uniforms with a Pakistani element. And my guys are on the other side of the border. They're dropping bombs on a whole bunch of empty mountains. And, 2 weeks later, they're like, okay, Bin Laden wasn't there, and they called us all home. So that was the previous spin. This one felt much different. This one was a lot more under the radar. It was quiet. It was like, okay, whoever lived there was significant, right? It was none of the intel that I saw was 100% proof positive. It was Bin Laden himself, but it was somebody significant. So, okay, whoever lived there was going to have a bad night, but we would figure it out. I remember in one of the intel manuals, right? I don't even know who put these together, but I'm breezing through it the first couple days. Like on page 1 or 2, I see a statistic where it says you have up to a 70% chance being shot down on the helo ride in or the helo ride out.
Wow.
Not, and I don't know who came up with that statistic. There was intel people at all levels throwing out different numbers and statistics, but I'm like, I'm not a numbers guy here, but 70%, that's just the helo ride. That's not dealing with the guys with the guns once you're there.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys think it was a suicide mission?
I've never thought any of my missions were a suicide mission. I refuse to think that way. Right? I don't care what, who. I'm not allowing myself. It's like my buddy in Buds, who every morning was like, fuck this, I'm quitting. I'm like, I can't allow my mind to go there because I'd actually quit. So I'm like, I'm not going to allow my mind to go anywhere other than we're going to move through this target and figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Can you run through the plan of what you guys developed for the night that it happened? And
I love my Mike Tyson quote, right? Somebody interviewed Tyson after a fight. They're like, Mike, didn't you have a plan going into tonight's fight? And he looks at the reporters like, yeah, everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face. I love that quote, right? We had a great plan, super simple. Like we did in Baghdad, top down, bottom up, right? We're going to squish them in the main house. That was the plan. Pretty straightforward. We got punched in the face as soon as we got there, right? These helicopter pilots are amazing, right? I cannot say enough good about them. Rehearsals, everything, perfect. Everything to the second. I'm sitting in the left door of the helicopter, right? I'm going to be the first one out, chalk 1 on the left side. My buddy's on the other side, right? Ropes hooked to the helo, 40 feet up. We come to a hover. It feels like 4 hours. It's probably 2 seconds. And immediately the helicopter goes 90 and starts going in. I'm sitting in this door.
Fuck.
Helicopters crash very ugly, right? A plane maybe can come skidding in. My little chicken legs are hanging out the side of the helicopter and we're going in this way to the side. Buddy of mine's holding me in. I'm literally falling out of the side of the helicopter as we come in and we hit. Nothing goes boom. Clear out your shorts, whatever you need to do to get back in the game.
Holy shit.
Man, the way we hung up on the wall, right? The helicopter propped up against the wall. there's a wheel on the back section of a Blackhawk, and that wheel's the only load bearing for the back half of the helicopter. That wheel landed on the wall. Right? Had that wheel been 10 inches this way or 10 inches this way, tail section would have broke. I wouldn't be here, right? The height of the wall was 10 feet. Our helicopter hit. If you watch the Zero Dark 30 movie, the main rotor hits the ground, comes snapping off. That did not happen. Right? We hit. I jump out this door and run away, turn around and look, and the main rotors are still turning. They're within about a foot of hitting the ground. You want to talk about the big guy? Right? When your time's up, your time is up, and it was not our time. Inches,
Damn.
landed perfectly. Helicopter didn't roll. Main rotor blades didn't snap off. Nothing. 40 feet up. You tell me how that happened.
Why did the helicopter crash?
Great question. Okay. So, do you know what was happening in Washington, D.C. the day before the mission that the president would have wanted to be at?
I don't remember.
A White House Correspondents' Dinner. So, the day we had originally planned to launch our mission was the day before we actually went. Right? It was a weekend, zero illume, so good time to go. President got involved. It was like, hey, can you guys push this one day to the right? Can we push to the right? Well, I want to hit my dinner. Okay, so we moved the op to the right. Not me, it was well above my pay grade. The op was moved to the right. The next day, the temperature was roughly 8 degrees warmer than the day prior. You know how temperature affects density altitude, how a bullet flies over a mile. It affects how much lift a helicopter can have. So hypothetically, if because I'm not speaking in real terms of weights, right? If our helicopter could carry, say, 1,000 pounds, say we were at 800 pounds of load, that's fine. We operate within those margins. Normal. The next day, 8 degrees warmer, temperature, we didn't have the lift. So what I've been told is we got into the target area. Our pilot was at full throttle, and we settled with power because he didn't have enough ass to keep the helicopter in the air. So why did we crash? Because the President Obama needed to hit the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
It's a portion of it.
Wow. Unfucking believable, man.
The only political shots I take in No Easy Day, right? I make 2 political shots because I hate all politicians. Biden, right? He was VP at the time. We meet him after the raid, and he's like literally handsy, like trying to rub guys' shoulders and like tell them bad jokes in their ears. Like we're not teenage girls with ice cream here, dude. Like, come on. It's like, who's the drunk uncle that showed up at Thanksgiving? Like, oh, that's the vice president. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Oh shit.
And then Obama was great, right? Super smooth. We all stood up there, got our photo with him, gave a great speech, and then he invites us all to the White House, to the residence, for a beer. Okay. I'm very apolitical, but if a sitting president invites me and my team that just risked our lives for whatever to the White House to have a beer with the sitting president, you go, right? You're going to go, right? He invites the freaking women's World Cup soccer team, whatever. Like everybody goes to the White House. Here's a sitting president inviting us to the White House for a beer right after we probably got him reelected. Do you think he ever followed up with that invite?
Probably not.
Nope. And so I bet you voted for change too. Like that's my only one-liner in the book of like, yeah, I bet if you're still waiting for Obama to invite you to the White House for a beer, I know you just risked your life for him and you probably got him reelected. He invited you for a beer, but you think he's ever going to follow up with that? No.
Wow. Not surprising though. Not surprising.
So, yeah, all my buddies are jumping out the other side of the helicopter and going to work. And I'm like, they're going to fucking make fun of me later if they see me over in the corner. So I couldn't run around the front of the helicopter. The main rotor blades are still turning. I literally had to run down along the wall underneath. There's like 3 or 4 of us on our side, but we all ran underneath the helicopter, joined with the team, and reached one gate. And we were back in the original compound that we would have fast roped into, but about a minute delay. So our plan had gone sideways, right? Our plan was top down, bottom up. Plan had gone completely sideways. We crashed into the compound. Second helicopter, there was no radio call between dash 1 and dash 2 that we'd gone in.
Were you going to be on the top or on the bottom?
We were fast roping 40 feet down into the compound. My team was clearing and securing one of the southern buildings, and then we'd all wrap into the bottom floor and go up. Chalk 2 was supposed to go to the roof and work down. As Chalk 2 came into a hover, right, you're flying a really expensive helicopter, looking through toilet paper tubes, night vision, right? And that pilot looks, and he happens to see we've got a parked helicopter in the compound. He doesn't know if we've been shot down, a mechanical, what's going on. He just knows there's a parked helicopter in the compound. Mm-hmm. So he makes probably the best decision of the night that nobody will ever talk about, right? He could have pushed a bad position, tried to do the game plan and land on the roof. The odds are he would have crashed.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'll explain why we crashed. Our hover was at 40 feet. The compound was mostly 50 feet, right? That second helicopter would have hold a hover with the same weight at 15 feet higher. If we couldn't hold a hover at 40 feet, there was no way Chalk 2 was going to be able to hold a hover at 60 feet and lip land to let his crew off onto the roof. The odds are they would have crashed.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.